walking by the prison behind me, and it made me think of something. So 12 years ago, I came out to Lancaster to hang out with some friends, and I went out and I got in a pretty bad fight. That night, I was drinking vodka, and I was really bad in my addiction then. And so when I got in this fight, I took all my anger out that I was holding on to from the past onto this person. And it was really nothing that they did, that they deserved what I did. But I just thought it was crazy that I went from that to being in recovery here in Lancaster now, and I have almost a year clean, you know, and I can stand here in front of this prison that I spent a year at, you know, and be proud, you know, so.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking.
Yo, we in the building. What's good, everybody? This is Flamingo Fred. This is the Bird of Paradise podcast. Out of Pink Hollywood, out of the retro room, holding it down. What's good, homie? Introduce yourself.
What's up, bro? I'm Matty Ice, 1990.
Yeah, much love. Tell them where you from.
So I'm from Harrisburg, PA. I live in Lancaster, PA. I'm in recovery. Yeah, so I came out to Lancaster because the music scene and the art scene out here, it's pretty dope.
And how was that treated you? Like, how was being part of the music scene and then recovery and doing all that mixing together? How they been treating you?
It's good because it's a good, like, I have a good support system. Like my whole team that I rap with, they're in recovery, so it's a lot of support. You know, like I come from when I grew up, you know, like I was a really anxious person because I went through a lot of trauma and stuff. So I didn't really have like a too much of a support system. So music and recovery, it kind of gives me that, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And is music that is something that you started after, you know, you started recovery, or you've been messing with the music the whole time?
So when I went to prison when I was 18, I really got into like writing poetry. And then about 3 years ago, when I went into recovery, I went to rehab, and they had a piano in the main room, so I snuck it up to my room, and I would put like beats on the piano, and I would write, and like that's when I really started to get my feelings out about like all the trauma and everything. So I would just sit and I would write, and I started like writing to the beat, you know, and that's how I really like fell in love with rap, you know. Like,
Yeah, that's dope.
yeah.
So you said I heard in the little video you sent. So when you went to jail for about a year.
I went to Lancaster County Prison for a year for aggravated assault, but they transferred me upstate. So I got a 3 to 6 year sentence, but I took the state boot camp, so I ended up doing like 2.5. I got out like 6 months early. I had to do it's called Quahana. It's a boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody know I'm not gonna say how was jail like, you know what I mean? But my question is, being in jail, of course you were writing, how do you handle what I figure to be a lot of time alone by yourself? Because some people can't handle that.
Man, listen, I'll be honest, like it was tough for me because like I have PTSD, so like my anxiety gets so bad, and for me to have to sit there all day in a cell, like it's man, that shit. I've been free. I've been out now like what 11 years, 12 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't ever want to go back just because like I'm not built for that. You know what I mean? Like
most
it's
definitely.
hard sitting there with all that anxiety. Like it's not a good place.
And they don't. And once you're in there, they not trying to hear that, or you know what I mean. Probably do
Yeah,
nothing for you. You know what I mean about anxiety or nothing like that.
yeah. It's no good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's.
went to so I did 2 years in Dauphin County Prison
Mm-hmm.
um when I was like 18. So when I was 15, I ran away from home. I was on the missing child on the news for a week. So when they picked me up, they put me in placement like juvie, and I
Mm-hmm.
was in juvie from 15 to 18, and then I came home when I was 18, and I was home about 10 months, and that's when I got a simple assault, and I ended up violating probation. So I went to Dauphin County Prison for 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then when I came home from that, I did. I was home 6 months, and then that's when I went upstate. I went to Lancaster County Prison, and then I went to Camp Hill, which is like the transfer jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then they transferred me to Houtzdale, and then from Houtzdale I went to boot camp. So I
Damn.
mean, from 15 to 23, I only had like 14 months on the street.
That has to take an effect on you. You know what I mean? Being locked down that time. I mean, it's like, probably felt like time lost, or you missing this, or you missing that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and at the same time, like I, so I have something called like developmental disorder, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because like growing up, I went through so much trauma that, and then like with prison, I lost so much of life. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like being in prison so long, I lost so much of life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Now I feel that. So it's like you hit the streets at 23, then like what is life like? Because some people they go to jail, they pick up a bunch of shit, you know what I mean, learn a bunch of crooked shit and hit the streets and
hmm
want to be a criminal. Or some people, straighten up and do different stuff. So you hit the streets at 23, then what's life like?
so when I was in jail, I had a cellie that was a drug dealer. So he basically like walked me through like while I was in prison, like he walked me through like how to hustle and all that. So when I came home, um, because I lost so much time in my life when I was younger, like when I came, like it was like every time I came out, I would just run wild, because
Hmm.
I never got to live. Even as a child, like I went through so much trauma with like the child abuse and stuff. I never really got to live. So when I finally came home when I was 23, um, I mean, I've been pretty much hustling since then, like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's all I've done, is so up until a couple years ago, that's all I did was sell drugs, like that was the only way I knew how to survive.
Most definitely. So, is your addiction something that started in jail or it started once you got out of jail? Because, depending on where you at, it's on and popping.
Yeah, I think my addiction has been there since I was a child. Um, just in the sense of like addiction's not all about using drugs. It's like the mentality of like I went through so much anxiety and child abuse and seeing so much stuff so young.
Hmm.
Like it played a really big toll on like my emotions and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel like, for somebody that's struggled with addiction, do you feel like, getting high help turn some of them thoughts off, or have obviously helped you escape?
Yeah, so like yeah, it definitely does. I started off selling weed. I grab a pound in the morning, go hustle it. I did that every day. Um, I did that for years, and then it's like it always for people like me, it always escalates. Like then I started grabbing coke, and I started hustling coke, but then I started using the coke because it was never like nothing's ever enough. Like I'm always trying to run from myself because
Hmm.
it's hard to it was hard for me to just sit with myself. Like I always needed to escape, but every time I escaped, like I could go out and I could make $500 to $1,000 in a day, but then I would go to the casino at night and blow all the money that I made that day. I probably made $1 million. You know what I mean? But I have nothing to show for it because my addiction took it all from me. I
Most Most definitely. And addiction can come in, many different forms. People just think drugs and alcohol. You could be addicted to a routine or street life. You know what I mean?
hmm
There's a time I felt like, I was addicted to the streets, and for many reasons: the freedom, the come and go as you please, the even avoiding traffic. I remember, in my time running the streets, I used to hate, what was it? I used to hate the week. There was a point that I was thinking to myself, like, I hate the weekends. You know what I mean? I had this thing where, like, I hated the weekends, and it was because I'm running around all week. It's like the streets are to myself. Like I can run around,
uh-huh.
no traffic, go anywhere. It's kind of quieter. And then the weekend hits, and every time Dick and Harry is out trying to have fun. And I used to hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I hustled all day long. Like that was my life, and I just remember like, so I saw this picture. I said this in another podcast. So like a couple weeks ago, I was going through my pictures in my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I found this one picture, and I was probably 100. I have my shirt off in the picture. I was probably 150 pounds. I'm like 214 right now,
Mm-hmm.
and in the picture, like I'm wearing like nice jewelry, like my clothes, my pants are like brand new, but inside, like I could see in my eyes in the picture how sad and miserable I was. But from the outside it all looked good. Like I had a
Yeah.
brand new Audi, I had my apartment, nice clothes, but inside I wasn't happy. And like it's like all day it was like I'm always chasing something.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's I don't know, in the moment I really thought that I was going to sell drugs the rest of my life, like until so when it all stopped. This is when it all stopped, right? So I was in Harrisburg, and I got this room. I was working this job for like a couple months, and
Mm-hmm.
um I lost the job because I failed a drug test. Um, One of my friends like hit me up, and he was like, I got like thousands of perks, the pressed M30 perks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh yeah, I can make money off them. So I grabbed them, and I was getting rid of them for like a couple months. But by the end of the couple months, I was strung out on the perks. So I lost my job, and I was making like $20 an hour there.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my job. So I went and I ended up losing my apartment. And I got this room on the hill, Allison Hill in Harrisburg. I think I gave the dude like $150 for the room. It was like just a room in a house. And I was doing them perks. And I remember being in the room like so like isolated and lonely, but I couldn't stop doing the perks, and I was like nauseous. I was throwing up everywhere. sweating, but I couldn't even get up to leave the room, and I was in there for a week, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink anything, like if I was in there any longer, I probably would have died. And that's when I realized, like, yeah, it's all coming to an end. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. There's no way I can keep. I can't just. If I could have just hustled weed and just, I would have been fine. You know, but it always escalates.
I mean, I feel this, is we've, in these communities running around the streets, music being different places, we've seen a lot of people that, got lost in their addiction, and never came back. You know what I mean? Lots of
Rich homie
people.
Quan.
Yeah, I mean, it's tons of people that got lost in their addiction and never came back. I mean, I'm from San Francisco, so I mean,
Okay.
crack was really big, you know what I mean? And different the pills and everything else, and it's like, for me, I'm just lucky that I just seen so many people just like fall off, or I just seen the hold it had on people from family members to different things. And just for
Yeah.
me, I just never fucked around, like, natural shit, weed, the simple shit, but just nothing,
Yeah.
never nothing heavy. I just never fucked around because it was
Bro.
like, man, it has to be good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has to be
Bro,
good.
I never in my life thought that I would end up where I ended up. Like, no part of me thought that I would ever end up like that. You know what I mean? My
Hmm.
whole life growing up, I just never saw it coming, but it came so slow, the progression. Like, I mean, it took a couple years for me to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like,
Most definitely. And I mean, I feel like I'm a philosopher in my own right. Like, I've spent my time all up and through the West Coast, different places doing my thing. I've seen a whole lot of different things. And I always, wonder to myself, how do people get these addictions started? Because, people sometimes it's so easy to look down on somebody. But I mean,
yeah,
it's like it's something simple like smoking cigarettes. One day
yeah,
you outside with the homies and you trying a cigarette, then the homies out, now you socially smoking. Now
yep,
the homies ain't even around and you want a cigarette, and so
uh
you
huh,
get a cigarette from somebody. Now you want a pack
yeah,
of cigarettes. You get what I'm saying?
uh
And it's
huh.
just slowly progressing like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll go deeper. Like, so, like, I grew up with my mom till I was 6. She was a single mom. Um, so when I was 2, we were at a bank, and we were at the ATM, and
Hmm.
these two guys come up on the side of the car, and they put a gun to my head. They robbed my mom. You know what I mean? So um, I went through that, and then when I was like 3, um, we were at her apartment, and long story short, my dad came up the stairs. He kicked the door open. I fell on the floor. Like, he beat my mom. So, like, I saw stuff like that. And then when I would go to my dad's house on the weekend, like, he would beat up on my stepmom. My dad was a drug addict. Uh,
Hmm.
and then my mom got with this. She got with this guy when I was 6, and he was an alcoholic, and he was, I mean, he threw me into a table when I was like 6 years old. You know, like, he was abusive to me until I was 15, and then they got
Hmm.
divorced. But so, like, I always like lived my life like I was on eggshells. You know, like, just walking through the house, I felt like I was on eggshells because every time I would walk by, he would give me a dirty look or say some ignorant shit to me. You know what I mean? You're gonna end up in prison, like, just like ignorant shit all the time. So,
Yeah.
I never knew how to deal with anything, you know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I went through a lot more than that, but I mean, we all do. But yeah, um,
Nah, most definitely. It's, you wonder, like, what could have been different, if you had that strong male figure, pops,
yeah,
in your life, how things would have been different. I have a child, I have my first child, and a lot of people do different things with their kids, and go about it different ways. But one
Yeah,
of the things I think about all the times is like things that I need to teach him and how to mentally prepare him and to go through certain situations in life. You know what I mean? And how
yeah,
to overcome that and shake through and different experiences. That's the stuff that I think about, even though he's small. But as soon as
yeah,
he's able to understand, hey son, you're gonna encounter people that's going, in the whole
yeah,
nine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I see. I never had that, and all the men in my life were, they weren't good for me. Um, yeah, so it was tough for me to like. I had to learn everything on my own. Like just everything about life. Like the people in the streets taught me how to. You know what I mean? Like my friends, that's all I knew. Like my friends, like, and then I'm like looking around, like my all my friends in the neighborhood, like they all had good families. Like
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was tough.
I mean, growing up, it's a learning process. You don't know some of the stuff that you're gonna go through, and I had my father that was around, and he was not really a dig deep with you type father, like deep conversations, but he was there and consistent. But still, you growing up through life, all the stuff I've been through, and for
Hmm.
myself, I just have to say, that I was lucky. A lot of times I was lucky, and I stayed away from drugs, and I stayed away from rolling in the pack. You know what I mean? When I was first coming of
Yeah,
age, I used to roll, and now I had a pack growing up. Like I had the big homies and shit. I had a pack,
yeah,
but I always used to venture off by myself and go do me. And the reason why I'm thankful for that, and not that the big homies was bad, but sometimes a lot of the shit that we can get into coming up is from rolling in a pack. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
might be some stuff that ain't even had to do with you, but the homie, this, and that, and now you in the thick of it.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
definitely a valid point for sure.
so I stayed to myself. I kept people out of my business, and I just never got too deep into nothing. And not bragging, but I'm thankful. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, I mean, I got into music, man, and like, it's just like for me to be able to have just to even have a passion in something that's positive, like. It's something that I can be proud of. I did it myself. I taught myself everything that, what I mean? Everything I do, I taught myself. I have like some people that put me in good positions, like I have a good team that gets me decent shows and stuff, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
music really saved my life. Like I love everything about it. I love that I mean it's how I vent, like I can tell the world my whole story through my music, like it's easier for me to get up on stage and rap about my life than me to get up in front of a couple hundred people and talk about my life.
yeah. No, and that's a beautiful thing. That's what art is about. We all come from different situations, had different struggles, different hurdles we have to overcome. Even daily, on a daily basis, we have stuff that we have to go through and overcome and keep ourselves focused and keep pushing. And I mean, we got trials and tribulations, and there's times that I thought to myself, and I did this recently, where I was thought about stopping making music. You know what I mean? And I've
Yeah,
made a name for myself, but I thought about stop doing hip hop because I'm doing funk music and stuff now. But it's like, you know, I'm not doing this to be, what I mean, Drake or nobody. Like, I'm cool
yeah,
with my little collective of fans and be cool,
yeah,
but I need something to channel this creative energy. Everybody has their thing. Some people ride motorcycles, whatever. I need to conversate and uh, you know, talk about ideas and create shit. So I have to have something to do that with.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My boy, I was just talking about that with So my boy, his name's Gunsmoke RYD. He raps. He's toured all over.
Mm-hmm.
He was just telling me yesterday, like he's like, bro, he was like, I go through phases where I'm like I think to myself, like, should I just give up music? And I'm like, bro, you you know you're not stopping. Like that's, you know what I mean? That he's been doing it for, I don't know, 20 years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm like, yeah,
It's really wasn't the music, it's just the culture a lot of times, the stuff, and it's not even the culture, it's the stuff that they choose to showcase about the culture. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
That gives it, Diddy and this and that and all these different things that they showcase about the culture when it's not that. But really, me doing the podcast, 'cause I like conversating with people and having different artists on every week who are motivating, doing their things, talking to them, motivating them, help motivate me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
made me want to, okay, man, let's and then man, I'm recorded half a project this weekend or a couple tracks or whatever else that I did this weekend. You know what I mean? And that
yeah,
motivates me. And I'm writing, you know what I mean, at my desk, and I'm writing and doing this and that. And
yeah,
it's just I I had to attack it from a different angle,
yeah,
and motivate myself. And it's not just music, anything in life. Sometimes you gotta fall back and attack that shit from a different angle. It's like Michael Jordan, like you gotta play this mental game with yourself, you know what I mean, to keep yourself focused and do different shit.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, lately I've been focusing on more on like content. Um, I've been really getting into like doing content lately, like just like content that like puts out like, you know, certain situations in my life, and then like make it like kind of like the video you played in the beginning,
yeah,
stuff that's like, you know, I went to prison, blah blah blah, and then it goes into the a song that relates to that topic. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I've been having a lot of fun doing like content and stuff lately.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. That's something that, I'm always, people are like, "Oh, you're so busy, you're so busy." Like, man, I like by the time I'm doing one thing, I gotta run to my office to hide the podcast, to run
Yeah,
home, to like I'm just nonstop, because it's like, what else am I gonna be doing? You know what I mean? I
right.
don't
I
like
feel
what
like I
else.
feel like I feel like if I'm not I feel like if I'm not being productive, like I feel like I always have to be productive or I'm not. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't know.
Most definitely. Like I'm just busy now. I'm booked up for a couple months coming forward. I got a bunch
Yeah,
of other projects, you know what I mean, and things that I'm doing. And it's like I got another interview later this evening, and I'm sitting here like, damn, okay, what can I get done in that time between now and the next
yeah,
meeting? You know what I mean? And it's like
yeah. I got
that.
a I got a really good girl. She's actually here, but she we go out and walk around the city, and she'll video me and give me ideas, and we
That's
have a lot of
beautiful.
fun, man. Like, I'm
That's
grateful that she's so invested in what I do as much as I am. You know.
that's beautiful, man.
Cool.
And it's, don't get it wrong. It's the simple things, in life that, can put a smile on, on your face, and keep you positive and keep you on the right track, And
Yeah, for sure.
that's for all of us. We got to look at having gratitude in the simple things. Like, a lot of times throughout the day, I'm blessed and have different stuff happen. I mean, I'm just thankful to even be where I'm at, because there's so many beautiful things that's happening, and just saying thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Did you see the? Have you watched the Young Thug trial at all?
I've been loosely
Yeah,
keeping track with what's going on and seeing how they're gonna do this.
yeah. I was showing my girl last night. Did you see the part with what's his name? Is his name Slug?
With the homie with the bald head.
No, he has the curl. He was the co-founder. Div, div,
Mm,
div, they were asking him all, like, that whole trial is crazy. Like they were asking him about like what blood stands for and what slug stands for, and like he's given all these crazy answers that don't even make sense. Like that whole trial's a mess, bro.
Bro, I can go into some theories about this stuff. Like when you really sit here and think about it, bro, like it's crazy. And I'm gonna tell you why it's crazy. Of course, I've watching the trial a little bit, but let me tell you this: like hip hop first came out, it was like this thing, this art form,
Original.
positivity, party, do this and
Mhm.
do that. Information, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different things, different races coming together and doing
Yeah.
this and that. So, and it started kind of with Diddy. Go figure. They start getting into more about bling bling, material
Uh-huh.
things. You know what I mean? Doing this and that. Uh, Music about drugs, music about killing. Well, music has kind of always been about drugs, but
Yeah, yeah,
negative
yeah.
things. But so there's a lot of talented artists out there, but they'll never give them the time of day. They're gonna only sign you if you're promoting certain things following the script.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now that you're promoting certain things and following the script, they're gonna now arrest you, do this, do that, blast you for doing these negative things,
Yeah.
and show you to the world. Oh, we got Young Thug. Oh, we got Diddy. We got this person. We got this.
Yeah.
We're taking them down. But
Mm-hmm.
you guys are the ones that enabled this negative behavior.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The yeah, I mean the record labels do that.
You
You know
that
what I
that's
mean?
that's
It's
the that's the booby trap of the whole so it's just all a game. So to me, honestly, when I start focusing on shit like that, and it makes me not even want to
yeah.
do it,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
so
Yeah.
but when I start thinking about, MF Doom comic book and these different shit and
Yeah. Yeah.
my own little movie type wave, I'm the star of my own movie, then I'm energized and ready to run my mouth.
Yeah, right.
So but that's just me, you know what I mean? That's just me. What are some of your next goals going forward?
Um I mean, all right, so I have a year clean on January 23rd. I'll have a year clean. I just was talking to my team yesterday. I want to set up like a concert for right around January 23rd to celebrate my year. So I talked to a lot of artists that are gonna come out. We haven't figured out the place. We're waiting on a couple of responses for some concert venues, but yeah. So I mean, my goal is I would really love to own like a recovery center, like a music and recovery, like a type of like recovery center where like they have music, like they have a producer, like they teach you music and art, different types of art forms. Um, so yeah, hopefully eventually I can do that. But right now I'm gonna probably in the next couple of months I'm gonna get back into performing and doing shows.
Yeah.
I've been taking a little break from like doing shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, right now I'm just kind of like chilling and doing, just working on the music stuff.
Most definitely. Now, do you have to is staying clean something that's like a 24, like it's a lot of pressure to do, or is it something that just flows?
At this point, it just flows. Like I don't because this is the first time where I feel at peace with my life. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I feel comfortable. Like I got a good girl. I got my music. Like I have my routine. Like I have my different things that I do to keep myself busy. So I'm not just sitting there in myself. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, that's not. I mean, I still do therapy and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, it's being a person, man, and it's working on yourself every day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you know you're running to people that act perfect. Hey, even me, I'll talk my shit and ride my wave and boost myself up. We all do that, but
Hmm.
when bottom line, being a person is working on yourself every day. you
Yeah,
know, thinking about maturing, is thinking about things you could
yeah,
do better, thinking how you could be a better person, how you could communicate better, how you could be at peace more often, the things that you'll need for you to be at peace, the things that you need that make you happy, appreciating the little things. Like I hear people say, when you wake up out of bed in the morning, thank the bed, thank you,
yeah,
bed.
yeah,
Thank you for thank you, water, for being here. Some people don't got, don't some
yeah,
people don't got water. Thank you, water, for hydrating me. Sounds
yeah,
kind of cheesy, but man, it's
yeah.
real.
No, gratefulness is a big great gratefulness is a big problem for people in addiction, in active addiction, because if you're not grateful, like, it's just, you got to be grateful for what you have, or you're not going to care about anything.
Most
you,
most
you don't
definitely.
respect you're not going to respect anything, and you're not going to respect yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Is there any last shout outs or anything you want to give?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Scott Gross. Scott Gross was in the band From Autumn to Ashes.
Hmm.
That's one of my producers. He's really good, man. And then Don Belch, that's one of my other producers. And then I want to give a shout out to Gunsmoke RYD. He's an artist. He's a recovery artist.
Hmm.
But he's helped me out more than I could ever ask. So yeah,
That's dope, man. Well, I
yeah.
appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank
You know what I
you.
mean? I appreciate you coming through. Stay tapped in with your boy. You can message me anytime off wax. Come back on the show. Let me know the stuff you doing, man, and we still gonna get it in.
All right, cool. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Much love.
Yep.